now going to talk you through the diamond press, which is a very good exercise for strengthening the muscles between the shoulder blades. And it's these muscles we need to be able to focus on and learn to connect with and strengthen so that we don't use our upper shoulder muscles, which creates a lot of tension. So it's the muscles between the shoulder blades. This exercise involves you bringing your chest off the mat using just these muscles. So no tension in the buttocks and no using your upper shoulder muscles here. The neck and the head, as you can see, are in line with the spine here, and they stay in line. So the head and the neck will also come away from the mat, but not by lifting the head, but by still lifting from here. Another little point on the alignment is that her fingertips are underneath her forehead. And she's nice and open here across the shoulders. Now some people might still be closed in here, so in which case you take your finger apart just a little bit more so that you keep that sense of open here. What you don't want is any sense of being closed in across the front of the shoulders. So you can actually, Vivi, because you're nice and open, bring your hands a bit closer together. But find that position with your fingertips on your forehead where you feel open here and play around with it to find that point. So as soon as you feel closed in, just take your fingertips away from each other. So let's have a go. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you always pull in the core. Keep your hands on the mat and then lift yourself just a touch your chest away. Good, that's lovely. Stay up here while you breathe in, and as you lower yourself, again, lower yourself back down again. So as you breathe in, your shoulders stay away from your ears, and as you breathe out, pulling in your core, just lift your chest just a touch away from the mat using these muscles. That's great. So you see how Vivi's neck and head are still in line here, and you hold that for an in-breath and then you lower on your next out-breath, again lowering from here, not from the head. So now I'm going to get Vivi to show you how to not do it, where she'll come a little way up using these muscles and try and go a little bit higher by bringing her head up. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, pull in the core, no tension in the buttocks. Lift from here, and then as she wants to come a bit higher, she thinks she's coming higher by her head coming up, but in fact this hasn't raised up at all. She's now gone completely out of line. So bring your head back in line. Hold that there as you breathe in, and then lower back down from here. Good. All the time, these upper shoulder muscles staying nice and relaxed. The other thing to consider when Vivi brings her, or when you bring your chest away from the mat using these muscles here, is to have that sense of lengthening the spine, always lengthening away from the pelvis, so there's never any compression going down into the lower back. So it's a bit like a jet. With a Harrier, you just come straight up, but with a jet, any other aeroplane, as it takes off the ground, it also lengthens away, and I want you to keep that sense next time you bring your chest away from the mat. So take a breath in, shoulders away from the ears. As you breathe out, engaging your core, lift and lengthen the spine, so have that sense of lengthening here away from the pelvis, and the legs stay lengthened along the mat in the opposite direction, so keeping this nice and open here, and there's no compression going into the lower back. And then lower on your next out breath, lowering from here. We'll do a couple more. Take a breath in, shoulders away from the ears, breathing out, pulling in the core, keep the buttocks out of it, and lift your chest away from the mat. And as this gets a little bit stronger, you already notice that Vivi's come away from the mat a little bit more without her neck coming into it, and then lower on your next out breath. So you stay up for an in breath and lower using these muscles. So all the time these muscles are working, and they are your mid-back shoulder stabilizing muscles, or some of them anyway. And again, good. All the time pulling in the core. Now, if ever you feel any slight discomfort in the lower back, it could be that you're not pulling in your core, and it could be that you're just lifting straight up off the mat rather than a sense of lift and lengthening away from the pelvis. And one more, Vivi, lifting from here. That's it, good. You have to really focus to connect with this. It's so easy just to bring the head up And sometimes it takes a while. So hopefully you've already done this with the Pilates teacher, and this tutorial is just a reinforcement of what you have to do. That's great. And all the time Vivi's kept her hands on the mat.